All right, so this is my blog called Living Informed. It focuses on decision making around caregiving, work, aging, and economic stability. It explores things like caregiving, labor, housing, aging, and adulthood within real systems. It also gives practical and reflective writing that's centered on decision making under constraint. So, one of the points of this blog is to help people who are navigating life's complexities, specifically when it comes to providing care to an older adult in some capacity. I want to help people at key decision points to evaluate decisions in caregiving, work, and aging in today's evolving social landscape. One, one of the main focuses is evaluating the trade-offs of caregiving and employment. So this means exploring key challenges in caregiving and work-life balance, paired with thoughtful guidance tailored for today's adults. Some of those themes are balancing care and career, making informed family decisions, and decision making under constraint. Here it you can click on explore more. You can use the search bar at the bottom of the page, or you can just go straight to the blog. So here are some of the posts that I already have. These are currently published. The first that I published were focused on decision points. So here is one blog post called How Many Hours is Caregiving Really? What Full Time Actually Looks Like. And I just want to give a disclaimer that I have on every blog post. These reflections are written from the perspective of someone with long-term involvement in caregiving, disability, aging, and family systems across multiple roles and life stages, including supporting an older adult parent with significant health needs. And so the time and the examples that I give in this blog specifically are focused on a period of time in my 20s and 30s where I was hoping to just provide care for and just do different things for an older adult with significant healthcare needs. And this is within a family system. So, it's more than just whatever is going on in my life. There are other people involved. So I just want to give that disclaimer because the starting point of where you are in your caregiving journey may determine where you end up going, what you have the capacity for, what you can or cannot try. Some people are different from me, even within my own household or within the household I was born in. And so everyone will have a different kind of starting point, and that's why I give this disclaimer. So this specific guide focuses on how much time caregiving actually requires across different situations. When people ask how many hours caregiving takes, the assumption is that it can be measured in tasks or scheduled time. In many cases, it cannot. Caregiving often includes interruptions, emotional load, and giving time that is not planned in advance. So this guide breaks caregiving into practical components so you can better estimate what the time commitment actually is. What this question actually involves, it involves taking into consideration direct care, indirect care, coordination, waiting time, emotional load, recovery time. So these are just some factors that determine whether caregiving fits into your life or begins to take it over. Next, we're going on to the decision framework. So, factor number one is direct time. This includes time that's spent on appointments, hospital visits, or being physically present. Just being physically present is, that's direct time as well. And so, in some cases, health conditions can change quickly. So, this leads to increased time in hospitals or extended visits without advanced planning. In my case, increased hospital time became part of the weekly and sometimes daily routine as health declined. And then there are some other factors that I discussed in the blog post. You can go and read it. Right here, I'll talk about factor five, which is incorporating your workplace kind of situation. So, factor five is flexibility versus sustainability. Flexible work can make caregiving possible, but it does not always make it sustainable. So, in my case, a fully remote job made it possible to be present when needed. This made it easier to spend time at the hospital and respond to changes, and the flexibility was important during a critical period. At the same time, my job itself became increasingly similar to previous stressful work. And then, without a defined endpoint, the combined demands of work and caregiving would not have been sustainable for me. And so, here are some thresholds or signals that can indicate that caregiving is becoming a larger commitment, and that it may be more than a limited or occasional role. So I have that under thresholds and signals for those who want to read the blog post. And then here are some possible scenarios. So your situation may fall into one of these patterns. Task-based caregiving, where care is limited to specific scheduled responsibilities. Interruption-based caregiving, where you are needed regularly, but timing is unpredictable. Full load caregiving, where time, emotional load, and recovery combine into a continuous demand. And then time limited, high intensity caregiving. In this scenario, without an endpoint, the situation will not be sustainable. In my case, caregiving included hospital time, emotional load, and recovery. The schedule was unpredictable, and flexibility from remote work increased availability rather than reducing strain. And then the next part of the blog post discusses what to do next in order to understand your actual time commitment. And the whole goal here is just to give you a more accurate picture of your workload. Um, so I have some insight that I provide. One specific thing I want to note. In some cases, workplace flexibility allows people to be present during critical periods, including end-of-life situations. That can be important, even if the situation may not be sustainable long term. And then, in closing, caregiving is not always defined by hours on a schedule. It is defined by how much of your time, energy, and attention it requires. Understanding the full scope of that commitment can help you decide what is sustainable for you. So that is just a run through of the blog, one of the posts. For those of you who want to kind of dig into a little bit more, you can go and read the blog post, go to the website and read the blog post. And I do have an about. So this is some background about me. I put a little bit of a disclaimer on every blog post, but ultimately, I started this blog after years of observing how caregiving, work, aging, disability, housing, and economic pressure distinctly shape adult life within families. So much of the writing comes from long-term involvement in caregiving dynamics across different roles, including backup caregiving, respite support, systems coordination, and attempts to build more sustainable structures around aging and disability. The examples I provide focus primarily on experiences involving older adult parents while navigating professional life in my 20s and 30s. Over time, I became increasingly interested in the gap between how people talk about care and how care is actually sustained in everyday life, financially, emotionally, logistically, and relationally. So, this blog explores adulthood under constraint, balancing work, caregiving, recovery, housing, relationships, economic survival, and long term decision making while navigating imperfect structures and uneven support. The posts on this site are interconnected and centered on practical, systems aware decision making rather than aspirational narratives about adulthood, caregiving, or success. And then this link under my photo goes to my website. Also, I did my dissertation on a similar topic, but that was, it wasn't from a personal perspective since it was a dissertation, it was a research project. But I mean, I just wanted to put that out there as well. And my degrees are in public health and health services research, health economics, epidemiology. And so if you want to know a little bit more about my professional background, you can find that on my website, just kind of broadly. More on that page, I talk about more of like decision kind of frameworks and that kind of thing. But depending on what kind of work or what you're looking for, I do have a CV that I can send over for professional collaborations and different paid opportunities that that may be directly related to my background. So yeah, on my website right now, it just kind of focuses on um, kind of this decision and structural kind of decision making. I also have different memberships. So ultimately, depending on this is generally my background, but depending on who is trying to work with me and who will kind of dig deeper to figure out, which lane they want to work with me in, you will be led in a different kind of direction. So just keep that in mind. For because I have so many different interests and ways that I've applied my life experience and like work experience and research experience. And then sometimes people can kind of get a bit ahead of themselves or kind of lose focus. I have specifically designed it so that you have to be wanting to work with me in a specific way to actually come across the information, additional information about me. And so I just want you all to know up front that that's by design. So that people don't end up in, you know, the wrong lane or with the wrong kind of perception of whatever work I might be doing with them because I have different lanes of work. So yeah, I just wanted to give that disclaimer. It was kind of a long one, but it is what it is. All right. And anyway, thank you for listening. I'm looking forward to those of you who will actually be going through the blog. I disabled comments. It's not really a conversation piece or anything like that. It's just for people that are thinking about decisions that they need to make and something like this would be of use to them. All right, have a great day.